the banana boat.
The banana boat?
Yeah. One of the members of the banana boat kind of found a home. How about the Phoenix Suns?
Carmelo's ball. Oh, you're going to go for his ball?
No, stop. This man said Carmelo Anthony.
He's healthy. He's off the safety protocol.
No, I'm talking about the future Hall of Famer and Chris Paul.
What's up, everybody? It's a Wednesday night. I'm joined by my great friend.
It's your boy Juan. We back at it once again.
This is the Max&JuanCast. I said it last time. I'm just trying out new things. Juan, anything you got to say? Anything you got to add?
Look, man. You guys have an iPhone? Max, you got an iPhone. I got an iPhone. Why don't you go ahead and open up that Apple Podcast app. Go ahead and search up Max&JuanCast and go ahead and give us a review, man. Give us a nice heartwarming review. Let us know how freaking awesome we are, okay? Give us that 5-star, all of that, bro. And not to mention, we're on YouTube. Those are for all the free heads out there. That's free right there. You don't even need an iPhone. You can access YouTube from anywhere. Ain't that right, Max?
That's facts. I'm kind of salty because I just looked it up, and it says Max&JuanCast, then it says Juan, and then Max. I feel like my name should be first both times, but like whatever, bro. I'm kind of salty.
Oh, man. With that said, man, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're everywhere, man. Go ahead and try to like this video. Go ahead and try to follow us on Spotify, review us on Apple Podcasts. Do what you got to do, man. Like our post, comment down below. If you have any type of questions, feel free to DM us at any time. We'll be happily to answer, bro.
But this episode, we're going to mainly talk about the NBA. We're just going to bounce around. I mean, there's been, 6 games, 7 games? It's so early.
Yeah, it's still very early. The last time we talked basketball was, Christmas Day?
It was just after Christmas. And, I mean, do you want to take us into the first team?
Let's do it. How about them Atlanta Hawks? How you feeling about them?
It was funny because everyone was talking about their hot start, and they just got, they get smacked by the Knicks, right?
Yeah, they just lost to the Knicks the other night. But they beat a couple of good teams. I believe they beat Brooklyn, correct?
They did. John Collins dunked all over Jared Allen. It was kind of mean of him. Those are both my guys. Love the fro. What sticks out to you about this Hawks team?
Number one, Trae Young has been balling this year. He's surprisingly efficient. He's been a lot better on defense because that's his biggest problem. That was our biggest criticism about him going into this season.
Oh, he's been Horus on that end. He's been the worst defender 2 years running. He got worse last year. I mean, he's 6 feet tall on a good day. He's never going to be a great defender, but he can give great effort. Their defense per game last year they gave up 119 points. It was 30 out of 30. Right now, they're getting up 112, which is middle of the pack. I don't know. Is that sustainable to you, or you got to wait and see more?
Obviously, with all these teams, it's see and wait, but it's a shortened season, man. It's not 82 games, so these little 2 weeks and 3 weeks stretches, it's big for these teams, and a good start is key for a lot of these guys.
I think you're right because it's kind of weird, right, with the 2-game series. If you lose both those games, it's kind of more deflating than usual, ain't it?
Yeah, I love to see it, though. The players gave back good feedback for the bubble. They really like the back-to-backs if you're not traveling kind of thing, and it winds up making the play a lot better. I love what they did with the schedule, and a lot of the owners do, because I even heard Mark Cuban do an interview on a podcast, and he says he loves it.
The less travel, the better. That's been one of the biggest things in the last few seasons. You get those games where it's a back-to-back. You go from Memphis to Miami, and that second game against Miami, the team gets blown out, even if they're the 73-win Warriors. There's always those trap games, especially if you're back-to-back and the second game's in Denver or something. It doesn't seem to happen that much. I mean, we've seen weird stuff like the Bucks. They blew out the Heat by 50, right? And the next day they played and they lost. That's so weird.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of NBA teams are not used to it. But going back on the Hawks, any other players that stick out to you that's been really improving this year?
DeAndre Hunter's off to a fast start. I think he's averaging 15 around 15 a game. I've watched him. He looks more confident than last year. The Hawks got a lot of big defenders. They got Reddish. They got DeAndre Hunter. And they need those guys, especially on the defensive end. Bogdanovich, he's been okay. And Gallinari, he got hurt after 2 games, so that kind of sucks for them. But they've kind of weathered the storm. They're not a bad roster. And Rondo's been good for them. They definitely need his leadership. And he's not afraid. As we know, he gets in LeBron's face. He's not going to have any problem getting in Trae Young's face.
Exactly. And you bring up John Collins earlier with the whole posterizing against the Nets. It's big to have him back because a lot of people tend to forget that he missed a big chunk of last year for them with that whole he was suspended, I believe, right?
Yeah, him and Ayton were juicing together. Maybe they took notes from my guy Lane Johnson. I don't want to make an NFL reference, but they got to stay off the juice, as someone wise once said in Philadelphia. You got to get off the juice.
So yeah, he's been big for them. I look for them to be a contender in the East, even though they're 4-3 right now as we speak, as we're doing this podcast. But I can still see them getting into the playoffs. They look good, man, and especially if Trae Young continues this with his energy on defense and his effort at least, and being very efficient. You know, the first game of the season, he had his probably the most efficient game that I've ever seen from a player in a while.
Yeah, I remember I texted you the box score, and I mean, if you look at his shots, they're down from last year. And I think we were talking about it, maybe not on this podcast, but if he takes a step back and lets the other guys have a few more shots, it's just going to help the team out. I mean, we saw the Trae Young show last year. It was great. It was fun to watch, but they won, 12 games, 14 games?
Yeah, I completely agree. Anything else you want to harp on about the Hawks?
No, I mean, that win against Brooklyn was good, but does that just make you rethink about Brooklyn?
Not totally yet. They had a really hot start with that 2-0 start, and they had a lot of national television, exposure, but they haven't been doing really good.
Yeah, they went to the quick start, like you said, and then they dropped some weird games. They lost to the Hornets at full strain. They lost to the Hawks. And, I know we're just talking about the Hawks, but everyone was talking about this team's going to be a problem. And Dinwiddie got out. He's out the whole year. And who takes a spot? Is that Karis LeVert? Is that TLC, 3-and-D guy? What do you think?
Yeah, well, like we said in our last basketball pod, they're a very deep team, so they should be able to recover from that injury. Yeah, it's a big loss, but I expect them to be fully – I expect them to be all right. Just off the plain fact they have Kevin Durant. Kyrie Irving looks like he's motivated to play this year, looking like he has a chip on his shoulder and playing with something to prove.
One thing I'll say about their team is DeAndre Jordan needs to not start. Jared Allen's so much better than him. I know that's your boy, Kyrie and KD, but for the good of the team, DeAndre, just go to that 8th man role that you were born to play.
Speaking of NBA fans and their boy, let's talk about the poster child of the NBA the last couple of years. How about Russell Westbrook and the Washington Wizards?
Do you want me to give you stats? He's averaging a triple-double, bro. How good is that? He's averaging a triple-double.
That's
I'll
amazing.
Be devil's advocate.
Let's give him the MVP. Fuck it.
Oh my God. Letting those F-bombs fly early? Come on. This is a children's show. All right, I'm going to be the guy who brings up his stats. 20, 12, and 11. He's shooting 38% from the field and 22% from 3. He's basically taking 20 shots to get 20 points. I love it because, I'm a huge Russ fan.
Look, I've always been a guy that supports him as far as loving his energy, loving the dog in him, loving his mentality. I love it, okay? I like the fact that he stayed faithful to OKC, but the guy's never been efficient, okay? Even the year that he won the MVP, just because he averaged a triple-double, that's why they gave it to him. And the triple-double, Max can vouch for me on this one. It's the most overrated stat, especially in today's NBA. Am I correct?
100% correct. If they get 28 and 8, it's awful. It's not even noteworthy. But if they get 30, 10, and 10 and shoot 40 shots to get 30 points, it's great. People just love the triple-double. They still think it's a big deal. People are shooting more threes. It's easier for guards to rebound. In 2000, it was harder to get a triple-double.
Yeah, and it's simple. It can be broken down as simple as just the pace, man. The pace in today's NBA is just so much faster than the 80s and the 90s and especially the 2000s.
Oh, the 90s and 2000s were just like slug it out defense. I mean, the Wizards are 2-5. Do you have hope that this is going to turn around for them? I thought they were going to be better than 2-5.
I didn't expect the rough start that they had. And it's funny that the first game that they win, Russell Westbrook didn't play in that game. So
hey, they're 1-1, bro. I'm playing devil's advocate. Let me just preference it, guys. I don't like Russell Westbrook. Whenever I say I'm a fan, I'm being sarcastic because you guys don't know me yet. He's Russell Westbrook. What can you say? He's a double-sided sword. What makes him great kills him at the same time. That's Russell Westbrook. I think that's the best way to put him.
But what are some guys that you thought that could have took a bigger leap on this team so far?
Well, it's only been 7 games, so I'm not going to say these guys aren't going to take the leap. I want to see more of Rui Hachimura. He had like an eye infection in both eyes, so he was out for a few games, which is, I don't know how that happens. Like, wash your hands, I guess. I don't know. And I want to see more of Denny Advia. I can't say his last name. It's weird. I'm really tired of the Luka comps. He's not Luka. He's like a bigger Hito Turkoglu, who maybe isn't as good a shooter.
That's a huge difference.
No, I'm just saying. I've never seen the Luka. They're just saying he's Luka because he's big, foreign, and white. That's all he is. Like, he's nowhere near Luka. Like, that's maybe like best case if you play out his career a million times, he gets there one time.
To be honest, I don't think any different about the Wizards after their start or any of that. I still think they're not going to be a contender in the East. I don't really see it. They need a lot more work to do. Russell Westbrook's one of them.
Well, when you speak of Russ, it always makes my mind go to like the next Russ, sort of with like the athleticism, John Morant. Like, he's like the closest thing to Russ we have, kind of, without the bad shooting.
Yeah, at least Ja can shoot a jumper.
Yeah, and at least he doesn't take 40 a game for no reason. And there was a scary injury. He sprained his ankle. It looked a lot worse when it happened, just the reaction, I think. He's going to be out 3 to 6 weeks. That's not good with Jaren Jackson Jr. being out, too. I think till like the middle of January, maybe start of February.
Well, we have to see if they can ride the storm, like we said earlier with the Hawks.
These injuries are worse, though. Like, your 2 best guys get hurt. Like, is the season kind of over if you lose those guys for 6 weeks? I think it might be, honestly. And I like the Grizzlies.
Yeah, RIP to anyone who bet on the Grizzlies making the playoffs this year because it's not looking that well, especially in the West. The West is stacked.
It kind of sucks. I wanted to see Ja take that leap. He had a really good first game. What do you have, like 40? Something like that? He had like damn near 40. And
throwing oops off the backboard to himself. It was nasty.
Yeah, and it's kind of scary to think about just because Ja's so reckless, and I don't want to see more injuries. He said he's going to wear high-top Kobe's. Like, bro, take as many injury prevention methods as you need to. We can't afford to lose you. I don't know if you saw, maybe like an hour ago, Markelle Fultz. He got hurt too, and he had to be wheelchair out of there, and it looked bad, and it was his knee.
Yeah, prayers up for Markelle Fultz just when it seemed like he was getting his confidence back, and he just got that new contract from the Magic. I hope he heals up fast, and it's nothing serious.
I mean, he didn't get a big bag, but he got like a medium bag. So that was good for him. And like you said, the confidence was there. We were seeing flashes. I was telling you about this last night. You've seen him shoot a mid-range, right?
Yeah.
How good's the form look on the mid-range?
They look great.
But as soon as he takes that 3, that ball's in front of his face. It's wobbly. It's like, exactly. Bro, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I feel. Hopefully it's nothing bad. It looked bad, though. So, I mean, Jaws looked bad, too. Everyone thought it was like a torn ACL or MCL or Achilles. So, hopefully it's just a sprained ankle or maybe like a sprained knee.
Yeah, and he's been having confidence going to the rim. You can just tell just his whole demeanor and the way he was playing is a completely different player from 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say Philly fans are sick of seeing him be good because they traded what? They traded him to Orlando for Jonathan Simmons in a first. Jonathan Simmons is out of the league. Maybe that wasn't a good move for Elton Brand.
That's that Spurs system.
Elton Brand was fired this year, and they hired Daryl Morey. And I kind of want to go to one of his old teams, the Rockets. John Wall looked great. That was a good trade by the Rockets.
Looking back at our discussion about it, we were kind of right on the John Wall part where we just seen a lot more. Yeah, there was a lot more unknown on the John Wall side, but it was just a lot more positive than the Russell Westbrook side, and you kind of see it already. He's putting up 28 points. He looks like he's in shape. He's been dunking the ball. He's been going at the rim with a vengeance. He looks good, man. He's making a lot of people look stupid right now for the way that they're talking about him.
I saw a play. They were playing the Mavericks, and I seen a play where Boogie went to set him a screen. He was at the right wing, and Boogie was setting the screen on his left shoulder. He jab stepped and exploded by, like, he basically didn't use the screen. He just went right to the rim, and he beat the guy there. And I was like, wow, that's the explosion we're used to seeing from John Wall. He seems to have it back. Because, sometimes you see guys make that play and they get the ball beat because they're slow. But John Wall looks like he's back. And watching that game, he was out there with DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins gets kicked out of the game in like 3 minutes because, of course, he does. Because he's just a dummy. Yes, I love DeMarcus Cousins, but God, like, you can't learn emotional control by now. Come on. So, like, he's out there with Eric Gordon, David Nwaba, and they ended up putting in Christian Wood, and they got forgot the fourth guy they had in there. If someone playing the four, but when he's out there, the ball's moving, everyone's touching it, which is kind of shocking to see, like, how Houston plays with, like, James Harden the last few years. Bro, as soon as James Harden gets in the game, it's like ruined. There's nothing. It's James Harden ISO again, and I hate it so much.
He dribbles the hell out of the ball, bro.
Bro, he walked up the court between the legs 8 times, pulled a 3, and it smacked off the backboard. And I'm like, that's the shot you took. It's like, bro, if you want out, bro, like, just trade him already. I don't understand. I think this team would be great if they traded him to someone like Denver. And Denver's kind of get off to a slow start.
Yeah, Denver's so weird, man, because obviously you think about the one piece that they have that they let go was Jeremy Grant. That's the biggest difference with this team this year, and the fact that Michael Porter Jr. is getting more minutes. Jokic seems to be carrying the team. Jamal Murray is not really being consistent like he should be. Yeah, exactly.
Jamal Murray?
He's not being Bubble Murray right now.
Do you think a trade between these two teams would be good? I have a trade I have. Do you want to hear it first, or do you want to tell me?
I'd love to hear it because I feel like Denver will be a good suitor for James Harden, just with all the assets that they have still, especially with the young players.
I will say I kind of hate it a little bit just for Jokic because I don't want to see Jokic watch James Harden dribble the hell out of the ball. But here's my trade: Harden and PJ Tucker for Will Barton, Michael Porter Jr., Gary Harris, and 3 first-round picks. You get the defender next to Jokic. I know it's not the rim protection of Jeremy Grant or the athleticism, but Gary Harris can't do anything right now. All he is a body defending. And Michael Porter, I think he's like a year away, and I feel Harden's going to basically get all the offensive production from him that those 3 guys provide. And then you can just plug someone in there to be a 3-and-D wing. You can bring in like JaMychal Green to play the 3. You can switch with him. I feel like, man, Denver's depth's really kind of vanished. Have you noticed that when you look at their roster? No more Torrey Craig. No more Grant. Monty Morris is banged up right now.
Yeah, I'll be shocked if they didn't have Monte Morris in that trade rather than Will Barton.
You'd keep Barton over... Well, you're telling me you'd rather keep Barton than Monte Morris? Or you think
I'm Houston, I would want Morris rather than Barton.
Really? How come? Just for a backup point guard? I mean, you got Wall. That's what I was saying.
For a backup point guard. I just like Morris a lot more than Barton. I feel like they have a bunch of Will Bartons on their team.
You mean like guys that can just kind of heat up from outside and score like Eric Gordon and stuff? Yeah, I can see that. I don't think you can trade Harden straight up because Denver needs like another piece with him, and PJ Tucker's not happy there either. And I think maybe we were wrong about Denver. Maybe this team just lost too much, and Murray didn't take the step we all thought he did. That doesn't make sense how he can't take the step in the regular season.
He's just inconsistent because it's going to happen. Yeah. It's going to happen probably right after this podcast. He's going to have a big game. But Mike, I think those are the 2 guys that are really holding this team back. It's the surgence of Jamal Murray and the growth and development of Michael Porter Jr. Those 2 guys need to really step it up. And we're not talking about every other game. You guys need to be consistent, just like Jokic. Jokic is consistent every single night. he's gonna get you a double-double at least.
Maybe a triple-double.
Yeah,
honestly, the way he's had to play.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. His consistency is not going anywhere. They need that other guy to be the Robin. And yeah, it was Jamal Murray a lot in the bubble. Jamal Murray had an amazing bubble. These are the concerns that me and Max had going into the seasons with Jamal Murray. We love the highs. The highs are amazing. It makes him be regarded as one of the top 10 players in the league. Like, he's just super on fire with the 50-point games, but his lows, man, it's bad. It's to the point where he's just zero impact on the floor, and you can't have that, especially in the shortened season.
Yeah, these games mean a little more. I know it's not like 50 games for 82. It's only 72 to 82, so they're only losing 10 games, but the West is competitive. A couple games might be the difference between a playoff seed. That's what it comes down to, and the Nuggets have got off to a slow start. Dallas got off to a slow start. I haven't really liked what I've seen from Luka. He's out of shape. He said he's out of shape. He thought this season was starting in January. I don't know. Maybe you should just be in shape year-round just in case. Yeah, I swear. I read it. Yeah.
What a freaking idiot, bro. What does he think? Why would you think that?
I don't know. Maybe
that don't make no sense.
I don't know. He's naive.
That don't make no sense. Even if you thought that the season was going to start in January, you would still want to get in shape as soon as possible. Just stay in shape. Like,
yeah, I mean,
that's kind of stupid.
I mean, maybe just staying in shape makes sense. Maybe you don't have to play your way into shape. I mean, he's still a baller, right? He's still putting up crazy numbers.
He's still good. It's just, that's all they have. That's all Dallas has is Luka.
I feel like they were kind of getting ready to go after Greek Freak, and now that plan's been dashed. And I mean, like Dallas, they had a plan to go after the Greek Freak, but typical Maverick stuff, they never get the big free agents. I mean, you didn't learn that with DeAndre Jordan, Darren Williams. Who was the other one they were supposed to get? They were supposed to get someone, LaMarcus Aldridge. They were always trying to get big free agents, and they played the cap space game. And they got two guys, KP and Doncic. And are we sure KP's like the second guy on the team, or is he the third? I feel like he's just a big shooter at this point, and he's a solid rim. I feel like he's a better Miles Turner.
Wow. That's pretty bad because they need him to be a lot more than that. And he needs to really get healthy, and they need to really see what this duo is going to do because they paid Porzingis already.
Big money. And it was coming off an injury, and it was like, why, bro? Like, I get he has the talent, but he can't even stay on the court. It's risky.
Yeah, and just what you seen last season in the bubble with the Clippers series, it was kind of, was that fool's gold?
You mean as a Dallas team in whole, or with Porzingis?
Just because we really seen a dose of what Luka and KP can do. Because that was when KP got hurt, the series just changed completely.
Well, yeah, it was just over at that point. I mean, they already tried to give him the series. Remember when they kicked him out in like the second quarter for no reason?
Yeah.
Classic. I don't think KP coming back healthy is really going to move the needle for this team. Like, I feel like his role is shoot threes, play the two-man game with Luka, and I don't think he's a franchise guy. He's not a guy who can carry a franchise, or like he's being cast as a second start at Luka, but I feel like Luka's still going to have the ball in his hands every minute of every game.
No, I get what you're saying. It's tough, and you said that before the year. Their depth is really bad. Luka gets hurt, the ship is going down. And it's sinking. It's not coming back up. Everyone's dying.
The ship is hitting rocky waters. It's going to be like Titanic. Jalen Brunson and JJ Barea. He's going to go down with the ship. I mean, JJ Barea retired. I just want to throw him out. He's like the classic Dallas Maverick. Get his jersey retired. That little shit.
Oh,
I still get nightmares about JJ Barea and Andrew Bynum.
I bet JJ Barea hates Andrew Bynum with a passion.
You think he hates him more than Dirk hates LeBron and stuff? Apparently, LeBron is hated by Dirk, and they made fun of him for coughing.
Well, speaking of LeBron and the banana boat.
Boat?
Yeah. One of the members of the banana boat kind of found a home. How about the Phoenix Suns?
Carmelo's ball. Oh, you're going to go for his ball?
No, stop. This man said Carmelo Anthony.
He's healthy. He's off the safety protocol.
No,
He's
I'm
healthy.
talking about the future Hall of Famer and Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns, man. Hot start for them. DeAndre Ayton's not really getting the points that people would want him to do, but hey, he's getting the rebounds. He's being good on defense. Devin Booker's been playing well. Chris Paul is fitting right in. He's obviously the leader of that team.
This is why leadership matters. Yeah, I wish Charles Barkley could appear on this podcast just so he could say Chris Paul's the best leader in the NBA for like the millionth time, but he's not been wrong. Chris Paul changes the cultures of teams. No one gave the Thunder a shot last year, and they proved us wrong. They almost went to the second round. I'm just blown away by Chris Paul, man. He's 36. I know he doesn't put up gaudy numbers like 20, 10, and 10, but it's just leadership. He gets the job done. They're 5-2, second in the West.
Yeah, and people that are saying that DeAndre Ayton's not taking that second step, I just think it's gonna come naturally for him. He's still a great shooter. I wouldn't say great. He's a solid shooter. You know, he has a good form. He looks comfortable while taking the jumpers. Yes, he can be a more low post kind of guy, but that's just not the nature of the game anymore. And sometimes it's just not needed. And being a pick and roll guy and being a lob threat is just as good.
I don't think people look at it like that. And that's a great way to look at it, what you just said.
Yeah, just because the guy's not throwing up, 30 in the low post like Shaq, it's nothing's wrong with him, dude. It's just it's the nature of the game.
Don't bring up Shaq. He might just go off on him for no reason. Like, who did he do it to? Gobert? For no reason. But okay, the Suns are for real. I think they're for real.
Yeah, I really like the Suns. Both of us like the Suns. You like them so much. You thought they were a top 10 team in the NBA going in.
I had them there, and they're proving me right so far. It's nice that they're not, the worst team in basketball, the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Who's the worst team right now? Who's the worst team? Should we just call the worst teams the Cade Cunningham sweepstakes?
Cade Cunningham. Is that the guy that's going to be number one?
I don't know, but I have a story for you. I just found this out. In college, we would go hoop at our school. I went to school in Dallas. We'd go hoop on a Sunday night, and one of my roommates and friends, his brother played for SMU. I'm not going to say names. And one of his friends would come. He was huge. He's like 7 feet tall. He's a baller. And he brought his brother with him one time. And his brother's like 8th grade. Bro, his brother was killing us. He was 8th grader, and I was like, bro, I must suck. I think I should hang it up after this. 8th grader is killing me. And that's Cade Cunningham. I just found that out today, and I was like, no freaking way.
That made you feel a lot better.
It did. I was like, I can take that. Number one pick dropping me off, crossing me up, dunking it like 8th grade. I'm like, bro, I can barely dunk. Whatever, though.
So is he, he's going to be the for sure number one solid, bona fide pick?
I think so. Barring injury, I think so.
Okay.
He's 6'8", got every tool. Handle, shooting, finishing, explosiveness, defense. It's all there. And OKC's going to have a shot at him. Detroit's going to have a shot at him. Maybe the Timberwolves are going to have another shot.
Back to back, baby.
Look.
So who's the worst? Who's the worst out of
right?
all those teams?
Detroit, right? I mean, look, I'll say this for Jeremy Grant. He's getting 23 in a loss every game. You're going to get 20 every game in a loss. He's looked fine. Killian Hayes, their first-round pick. I'll save the Killian Hayes stuff for when we talk about the rookies. I'll take that back. I think it's Detroit.
And that's final not even for sure that they get it.
I know, the lottery odds, I mean, there's only one team that tanks. It's the Eagles. So, I'm sorry to bring up football. But it kind of works, right? Maybe the Eagles are in the Cade Cunningham sweepstakes. We don't know about it.
Oh, man. Who knows? Because the Timberwolves got football players playing basketball on their team, so nothing would shock me.
Is this your subtle way of saying let's talk about the rookies?
Let's talk about them. Let's start off with Anthony Edwards, the football player. What do you think of him so far?
Didn't they already draft Anthony Edwards when they got Wiggins, and they just loved how that went? That's what I was going to tell. Is that not right? Didn't they already have this guy?
I think Wiggins had a lot more skills than him, but it's just one thing about Anthony Edwards, man. I don't see anything skillful about this guy. He's Yeah, he's athletic. I get it, guys. He's athletic. He could jump out of the gym. He's strong. I get it. I'm talking about skill-wise. Does he have a skill set? And that can be anything. It can be ball handling, passing, shooting, touch around the rim. Any of those things. He doesn't have it. He doesn't do any of that stuff good. And it makes me question, like, why the hell would you draft this guy number 1? Because I don't see it. I don't see any good skill set in him besides his athleticism.
You know what he's really good at? He's really good at settling for jumpers. He's all he does, bro. I'm like, my guy, if I were you, I'd attack the rim every time. I would just go in, and just try to get a foul every time. I've seen, like, you see a little flashes from him, right? I've seen, like, 1 or 2 flashes where he, like, crossed somebody up and dunked, but I'm like, the game's already out of hand. I don't really know if they're trying. I'm not going to say he's a bust or he's Wiggins yet, but I feel like he's got some Wiggins vibes to him already.
I just don't see
What number did Wiggins wear?
22?
Dang, I wish he wore 1 so I could be like, man, Anthony Edwards got his jersey. I think Edwards should change his jersey to 22. It would look even better.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of him. I can't believe they passed up on Wiseman.
Maybe they were thinking Cat's here. Well, Cat got hurt. Cat's out for what? The foreseeable future? We don't know. He broke his wrist, dislocated his wrist or something. Wiseman's looked really good. Granted, we talked about his ugly-ass jump shot. The old man, like, come here, son. Let me show you how to shoot this thing. He makes flashes. I saw a play against the Kings where he picks up the ball, runs a fast break, and they throw him a lob, and I was like, man, that guy looks so fluid.
It feels like every game he shows some type of flash, whether it's when the game's over or just random plays like you just explained during the game. It's the athleticism, it's the IQ of the game, it's being confident while shooting, passing ability, being able to start a fast break and run it. He shows flashes a lot.
He definitely does, and I feel like he's in the best situation, just culture-wise, team-wise. Curry, Draymond Green, Clay when he comes back. And Steve Kerr's a hell of a coach. You can't really say that about Ryan Saunders. We don't know about him. That's the Timberwolves coach. Yeah. The other 2 guys I really liked coming out were Cole Anthony. He's been good. I feel like Cole Anthony, he's never going to get much better, right? He's kind of like a finished product already because he's got like the – huh?
Well, he's going to get a lot of playing time now.
Oh, what happened? Is there breaking news?
Well, just regardless, I mean, you see Markelle Fultz being out for some time, so he's going to get some type of shine, some type of exposure.
I just got an alert on my phone. Torn ACL, done for the year.
Yeah, so Cole Anthony's going to get some playing time.
Didn't I pick Cole Anthony for Rookie of the Year? I either picked him or I had him pretty high up there. And this is a sad case for how he's going to get it, but damn, like, let's see what he's got. He's probably going to start now.
Yeah, it's going to be good to look at Cole Anthony. How about LaMelo Ball?
Bro, I'm so sick of seeing LaMelo Ball highlights. Go ahead. Do your thing, and then I'll come in. Go ahead.
I haven't really seen much of what I didn't already know about LaMelo Ball. He's a gifted passer. He still is super inconsistent with shooting the ball. I'll give this him. I'll give this to him. He's been a lot better at shooting than I thought he was gonna be. I'll give him that. That's about it.
I feel like I know it's been 7 games, and you can say, "Oh, he can be better than that," but I haven't loved what I've seen from his shot. Sometimes, I mean, he's gonna be streaky. I feel like he's his brother. Like Lonzo's rookie year was streaky. It would be like 4 for 4 or 0 for 6, you know. And I'm just sick of this. I'm sick of him making a pass, like a simple pass, or like LaMelo with the filthy assist. It's like, my guy, any point guard makes that pass. The guy made a contested 3. That's the tough part, not the pass to him. I feel like the hype for him is just ridiculous. Like, Bleacher Report posted a video of him getting ran over today, and they were like, LaMelo got a fine for this, or a warning from the no flopping in the NBA. It's like, why is that even on the feed, bro? Because LaMelo Ball, and we have to show him everything he's ever done.
Yeah, it's what gets clicks with the whole LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, I feel like let's just see what he's made of. I mean, he's got Terry Rozier's been playing good. Devontae Graham was good. The Hornets suck. They're going to continue to suck, unfortunately. Any other rookies? I mean, Patrick Williams has been okay for the Bulls. You got anything to say about him, or you haven't really seen much of him?
Nah, I haven't really seen much. What about the guy out of Boston?
Dayton? Well, you know Boston fan love them, some little white guys who are like gritty, right? We got the second coming of Scalabrini. He's been good. He's a shooter, man. He hasn't been bad. He's like definitely earned a place in the rotation. Who was the guy they drafted last year, the Munchkin, who everyone got hyped about after the summer league? Carson Edwards.
Man.
What happened to him? That's what I'm curious to know. What happened to everyone who said he's gonna win Rookie of the Year?
It's gonna be interesting to see if this guy really does work out for them, because the window that they had with Horford and Kyrie and Tatum and Brown on those rookie contracts, they needed one of those rookies just to pan out for them, and none of them have really. They really missed on a lot of picks from Brooklyn that they got.
I mean, Romeo Langford, Grant Williams, Robert Williams. Grant Williams is okay. Robert Williams is whatever. Romeo Langford, I haven't seen him play enough. I'm sure we're missing a couple too. I mean, it seemed like they've got some better unheralded guys like Daniel Theis, what's his name, Pritchard. And they, like you said, they've missed picks, and that kind of builds up and it hurts you.
Yeah, because it's kind of feeling like they missed that window of a championship with Horford there, and like I said, with Tatum and Brown on those contracts was huge for them because they were giving them so much production, and now those guys are getting paid a lot of money, and we'll see. They're still going to be good, but they need somebody to step up, and hopefully it's that guy.
Let's move to the Celtics, but before, let me give you two more quick rookie notes. Obi Toppin, he's been hurt. He hasn't really played, which kind of sucks. I wanted to see what he was made of. And Halliburton from the Kings, he's been good. The Kings are a joke. Marvin Bagley's dad wants him to be traded. De'Aaron Fox's dad's like, let him go. I like Halliburton, though.
Man, it seems like De'Aaron Fox's dad is like the poor man's version of LeVar Ball. It's like
LeVar Fox.
We've been hearing this guy talk about his son since college. And yeah, I get it in college, bro. Your son's a grown-ass man. He's in the league already. Shut the fuck up already. Like,
second F-bomb.
Like, let him make his own decisions. But like, I hate to see stuff like that. Like, dude, no one cares. Like, if he wants out, let him say he wants out. Why does it have to come from you?
I think the same thing applies to Bagley, though, to his dad. Like, hey, bro, like, let me make my own trade request. Don't go on Twitter and voice my own displeasures. Like, basketball dads, just support your sons from behind the scenes. You don't need to be vocal. That's just my opinion.
Exactly.
If you want to be vocal, do it. But that I would never do that. If I had a kid, I'm just going to be like behind the scenes, support my son.
I feel like it just makes it worse.
Yeah, straight up. And it's like, bro, how old are we? Like, let's be adults. And that maybe this is the Kings' culture. Maybe Luke Walton's not the guy we all thought. I felt like he kind of had some momentum when he got hired with the Lakers. He had a fun first year, but he's been bad for, 3 years now?
Yeah, one thing that shocks me about Luke Walton, and me and you know Luke Walton a hell of a lot, because obviously he was the Lakers coach. And one thing that the Lakers did have going for them with those Luke Walton years was really defense. I thought the Lakers played really solid defense under Luke Walton. And that has been the complete opposite with the Kings. The Kings are terrible on defense.
Well, in the Kings' defense, they're terrible everywhere. But you're 100% right about Luke Walton and what he was with the Lakers. And I don't know. I feel like the Kings, they just need to sell their team. The owner sucks. They got rid of Vlade, I think. This team just needs a makeover. They should move them out. Move them to Seattle, bro.
Please. Look, there's two teams that I think that should be removed. And
no, we're not getting into it right now. We'll go another day. I'm not gonna let you spoil it. Let's go back to Boston. Look, I think there's only one question with this team, and I don't think people are asking it. Who's better, Brown or Tatum?
Look, this year Brown's been on a tear, dude. Brown, I believe Brown is averaging more points than Tatum. Even in late game situations, I know Jaylen Brown missed the shot, but I was watching a game where they lost against the Pistons, and they drew up a play, and it was for Jaylen Brown. So they have a lot of confidence in him. I hope he does take that leap like I wanted him to this year. He's been looking very well, and I would right now. I would just pick Brown. I would pick Brown over Tatum, not by much,
Really?
but just by a little bit.
That's controversial because, Jason Tatum's, he's the guy. He's the next guy, even though he was good for, 6 months and a half? 7 months?
Yeah,
Whatever.
everyone kind of jumped the gun on that Milwaukee game for the start of the season when he made that banging three. Jason Tatum's great, okay? He's good, but I just really like what I see from Brown. I think he has the potential to be the whole package. Jason Tatum's not that great on defense. I feel like Jaylen Brown can be a lot better.
I think that's the case.
Yeah.
What you said about the defense. He can be a first-team all-defender, I think.
Yeah, because he's more athletic than Tatum. There's no denying that.
Easily. He's freaky athletic. I think Tatum's a little better, honestly. I hear what you're saying. The ceiling for Brown might be higher. I feel like we've just been so high on Tatum, just as a basketball population, like the rookie year. But the second year, he struggled. And people were trying to trade him for AD when he was in the second year. Remember, Boston was in the talks, and he's like, I'm not going to Boston. They were going to throw Tatum in there without hesitation.
Yeah.
And I know Kyrie wanted to play with them, but they were going to throw both those guys in there. It was just a weird thing. And I think you maybe be turning me to Jaylen Brown. I think we should wait and see how it plays out. I wouldn't be surprised if both these guys made the All-Star team this year.
Definitely. I like what I've been seeing from Brown. Like I said, it's not clear cut. He's not far from Brown as far as with the Tatum situation. I like Tatum. I've always liked him. I like what I've seen from him his rookie year, but there's still a wait and see with these guys, and hopefully it's not a seesaw career with both of them, because everyone seems to jump the gun with both of these guys. It seems like every single season, and they just wind up slowly dropping down, and then they go back up. And it's just that inconsistency that you can't have to be called a superstar, and better yet, the next generation player. You don't have that from guys like Damian Lillard. Like Damian Lillard's a clear-cut superstar. He's consistent. You know what you're going to get from him. With Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, it's a lot of seesaw action with them. And you can't have that to be considered a superstar or quote-unquote the next generation player. You can't have that.
I feel like we just get superstar talent mixed up with what an actual superstar is. And that's been the case for as long as I can remember. People wanted to call Andrew Wiggins like a superstar after that 1 year where he was like 23 a game. But it's like sometimes it just doesn't pan out like that. And I just brought up Wiggins. I kind of want to move to the Warriors. Steph had 62. He kind of reminded us why he is that superstar.
Me and you were cautiously talking about him. We didn't throw him in the dumpster. We just said we got to see more, and this is what we wanted to see. We know what Steph can do. He's the greatest shooter of all time. There's no denying that. And me and you definitely call him a superstar. He's that once-in-a-generation type player, and this is the stuff that you need to see from him. No, we're not saying score 60 a night. But, hey, you're a superstar, carry your team, and you got to win some games here, bro. You can't be the worst team in the league. You can't be one of the worst. You got to be competitive. And, yeah, part of it is Draymond coming back and all that, and, it could be that. But, look, I love what I seen from Curry from the 62 points. One thing I'm going to say, though, it does not change my view on the Warriors. I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
I think you're a fool if you let the 62 points kind of sway you into rethinking everything about the Warriors. Portland's not good defensively. I'm just going to say that. 62 is impressive. Doesn't matter when you get it. Unless you're playing high school kids. This is an NBA team. It's impressive. The problems are still there for the Warriors. I don't know if we can trust Oubre. I don't know if we can trust Wiggins. Draymond Green. I've always said this about him. He's the type of player that makes a good team great, but he doesn't make a bad team good. And Wiseman's a rookie. He's inconsistent. He's been up and down. I know we just sang him praise. But like we said, he makes flashes. He has a bunch of flashes.
And then Oubre's shooting struggles, you bring up him. It's really bad with the combination of Wiggins.
You know what's crazy about Wiggins? He's averaging like 17 a game, and I'm just like, you get the worst 17 points a game I've ever seen. You're like the Andre Drummond of points. Andre Drummond somehow gets 20 rebounds a game, and you're like, those didn't matter at all. Like, you're so unimpactful. I will say, I don't know if they're a playoff lock, but I can kind of see them sneaking into like the 8th or play-in tournament. But real contender, no. It's not going to change my mind about that.
I don't see them as a play-in team. I don't see them in the playoffs. It doesn't change my opinion on them at all. That Clay loss was big. They don't have the pieces to compete in the West. Straight up. I don't see it. Wiseman's young. Curry's going to do his thing. Draymond's going to do his. Like you said, Draymond's one of those guys. He doesn't make a bad team good and all that. But Oubre's bad at shooting. Wiggins is bad at shooting. If anything, they need to make a trade, bro, if they want to compete in the West. The West is stacked. Doesn't change my opinion on them at all.
Best thing they can do is just hope Clay gets back injury-free next year and is himself.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
like you said, the West is deep. We got teams like the Lakers, the Clippers, Utah. I know they've kind of been up and down this year, but I like what I've seen from Mike Conley. He's kind of getting back to being a good NBA player. I don't know what happened last year. It was just a weird – he got hurt first time out of Memphis. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't like what I seen last year. I was a big Mike Conley fan back in the day with the whole grinded out team with Tony Allen and back in Memphis. But last year really threw me off. It was to the point where I thought he was done this year. I like what I've seen from him this season. I hope it does continue. As long as Mike Conley winds up playing like that, they'll be fine. They'll definitely be in the playoff mix. They got way too much talent with Gobert and Mitchell. And who's the other guy? Bogdanovich.
They still got Joe Ingles coming off the bench. They have a good team, Utah. They got Derek Favors. They brought the gang back. They brought the band back together with Derek Favors.
Exactly.
Coming in as the backup big. Utah's a good team, man. I just need Donovan Mitchell to take that leap, and he's kind of been up and down this year.
Yeah, a lot of these guys.
Jamal Murray.
A lot of these guys, man, are just so scared of taking that crown away from the big dogs like KD and LeBron, because one thing, I'm going to bring it up again and again, it's consistency, kids. That's what we need. You Jamal Murray's, Donovan Mitchell's, Ben Simmons, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, the list goes on. All you guys out there, all you NBA fans, you guys want to crown these guys and call them next generation players.
I don't think consistency's ever going to be given the credit it deserves, because guys like LeBron who do it every year, it's just not flashy. People get used to the greatness. And we talk about Utah getting off to a good start. Should we talk about probably the most surprising and worst start in the NBA this season? The Toronto Raptors. What is going on in Toronto?
Raptors. Dog, why y'all failing me like this? Why y'all making me look dumb?
Don't blame them, bro. You picked them. I'm just saying, you picked them. Don't blame them. Bro, where is Pascal Spicy P Siakam?
Man, I have no idea, man. It's looking bad. He got disciplined one of these games. He got benched, I believe, for the first quarter. I don't know what the hell's been going on, but it's not looking good in Toronto.
They're 1-5. This is like the make it or break it stretch, I feel like. You can't start like 1-10. Fred VanVleet was talking about, I don't know, none of us have ever been like this. I mean, Kyle Lowry's old. Fred VanVleet just got his bag. Aaron Baines hasn't been good. He's been shooting like 20% from three. The only guy I've liked has been Chris Boucher. That's your boy, too. What'd you call him, Bobby Boucher?
At least I was right
Chris
on
Boucher.
him. Chris Boucher's my boy. He's been good.
Yo, and also, OG Anunoby, where have you been, my guy? Are you and Pascal just like...
With the contract, too.
Yeah, did he just never make it out of Toronto? They never made it to Tampa Bay? They're just still in Toronto?
That is weird for them. They are away from their home, so.
What did Lou Will said? They can't wait to come to the U.S. Well, you got what you wanted. Now you guys are in the U.S. But do you have faith that this team's going to turn it around?
I really don't. I haven't liked what I've seen so far. I could be wrong. If you think they're going to turn it around, you got a lot of faith in Nick Nurse. That's what it comes down to.
That's just what I was going to say. I'm 80% out on this team. The 20% is like Nick Nurse has been a good coach. He's been really good for 2 years, arguably the best coach in the league. And they lost Kawhi. They didn't skip a beat, but they've lost Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol, and the whole wheels are falling off this team. I don't know what's going on. And
yeah, starting to
they're
show.
They're the worst in the East, as opposed to the Sixers, who are 7-1. Is this the Doc Rivers effect in the first year? He always he comes there, the culture changes, everyone loves Doc, and then
Is the process complete?
It's not complete till they win a championship. I will say, I like what I've seen from Joel Embiid. Seth Curry's been great for them. Phenomenal.
Great. That was a great
Did you know
under the table
shooting
signing.
mattered? Did you know that shooting was helpful to have?
I think the Sixers just realized that.
Is Seth Curry the best shooter that's been in Philadelphia since Joel Embiid's been there? He's got to be, right?
Maybe since, JJ Redick?
JJ Redick, that's a go. I think I'll go JJ. But they haven't had many shooters, man. This team, they've looked good. I'm going to say this. They haven't played anybody. They've been playing like the Hornets, the Knicks. Well, I don't know. Are the Knicks good? Are we ready to crown the Knicks after, a 5-3 start?
No, they're going to wind up falling down. But, hey, I do like what I've seen from RJ Barrett so far.
Is this the one mention of the Knicks this podcast? Oh, it might be the second. We mentioned Obi Toppin. So this is the last mention, though, right?
Yeah,
I don't want to spend too much time on the Knicks.
Speaking of teams that have been, under the radar and people expected them to be bad, how about the Cavs?
No, I don't buy for a second the BS. Let me say this. I don't buy the bullshit coming out of Cleveland.
There you go.
I know you want me to curse more. I'm a bad kid. Tell the listeners your comp for the backcourt. I said Dame and CJ. What did you respond with?
I said it's like two CJs in the backcourt, two CJ McCollums.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
But, hey, I like what I've seen from Darius Garland and Colin Sexton. A lot of people put them in the garbage after last year because they were bad last year.
Well, I mean, the Cavs were bad. I mean, they're still missing their, $150 million man, Kevin Love? Where's he, man? Or are you telling me that contract was bad? Who said that?
I believe you did.
Bro, I'll say this. I like Larry Nance. I've loved him since he was on the Lakers. The CJ and CJ backcourt they got, it's looking good. They can score with the best of them. They're just missing a superstar, I feel like, on this team.
Yeah.
It's not Cedi Osman. It's not Andre Drummond getting 20 rebounds a game for no reason.
Maybe, they had a guy named LeBron. That'll probably be a good superstar to have.
Yeah, but Cleveland just couldn't contain him. And, he got them their one chip. What are you going to be mad about? If Golden State wasn't in there in the NBA for those 5 years, they would have won 2 or 3.
Yeah. So with all that said, I know there's a lot of teams we haven't really talked about, but I wanted to get who's your most surprising team so far, and who's your most disappointing team.
Well, the disappointing's the Raptors, 100%. They've just been bad. They're not even in close games some nights. They're just getting blown out. I'd say the surprise team's probably the 76ers. I know they haven't played anybody. I like what I've seen from Philly for most surprising team. I know it's early, but I've really liked them.
Yeah, I would say the Cavs. The Cavs have really surprised me. I really like the improvement from Garland and Sexton. And disappointing, you hit it right on the nose. That's really the only one that disappoints me the most is the Raptors. Any other teams that kind of made it on the cusp of it?
Disappointing, I was also going to put the Mavericks, but they're kind of not at full health, and that's why I didn't put them in there. And maybe one more surprising, maybe the Knicks. They put the Knicks at 5-3 or whatever they're at.
Maybe the Pacers?
I'm going to say the Knicks. I'll put the Pacers, 100%. I take out the Knicks. I don't want to give the Knicks any credit. Let me go with the Pacers. My boy, should I say it? Should I say my boy Zabonis?
Maybe a little teaser for the audience. We got a little YouTube video coming out pretty soon on Sabonis. Me and Max are on the works on that.
I think it's going to surprise people because I gave some people in the East a lot of praise, and this is going to surprise people. And we put in a lot of time into making it. So hopefully you guys like it. I'm excited
We've been
for
hitting the lab. We in the lab.
I mean, my stimmy check hasn't come through, so all I can do is just be in the lab and make videos.
Hey, no, mine hasn't hit either. We both broke boys right now.
Yeah. I feel bad for joking about it with all the craziness happening. I just hope everyone's safe in DC. We don't like to get into like politics and stuff, but let's just hope everyone's safe.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation, but I think that should call it, man, for our check-in with the NBA.
Can we make this check-in maybe, in a couple of weeks we'll check back in?
Yeah, we'll check back in. Maybe if something big happens, we'll talk about the NBA. But hey,
maybe
man,
if Harden gets traded?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it drops one of these days because I'm tired of him dribbling the air out of the ball in Houston. I'm tired of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, isn't that show just going to go on the road? That's a traveling show.
Exactly.
Finish with some questions?
Yeah. I believe let's answer. We put up a post earlier, probably a week ago, on just questions about whatever and anything anyone wanted to ask. And one of the questions we got is from a really good friend of ours. We've known him for so long. We've actually done a podcast with him before, but his name is Daniel Diaz, aka Scoops and Hoops. Make sure to go check him out. He's on Instagram. He's on Twitter. He's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that. That is at Scoops and Hoops. And the question was, are the Heat a fluke?
They're a fluke if they make the playoffs and get bounced in the semifinals. And it's not a close series in my eyes. If they go 7 games with the Bucks and the Bucks barely eke it out, they're not a fluke in my eyes.
Yeah, I don't see them as a fluke either. They have so much talent on that team. I don't really see the whole regular season defining them. They fit so well as a playoff team with Jimmy Butler and Dragic and Bam Adebayo. And I think the conversation will be a lot different if Dragic didn't get hurt in the finals. That was a big loss for them. That really unlocks Bam Adebayo as a lob threat as far as the pick and roll game, because that's huge.
It was tough to watch Jimmy Butler basically be a one-man band, and they didn't just lose Dragic. They lost Bam for a couple games. It was just a nightmare finals for the Heat. Nothing really went their way.
Yeah, Duncan Robinson didn't play well in that series.
Tyler Hero had one moment where he snarled and was vanished.
Yeah, and there's no shame in losing to the Lakers, but I don't think they're a fluke. They're a really good team, man. Let's give them some time. I'm not going to judge them so much off the regular season. They just have a lot of pieces that go very well. They have the shooters. They have the rim protector and Bam Adebayo. They have the point guard with Dragic and can run the pick and roll. And they have the most important thing of them all. They have the closer in Jimmy Butler. And we've seen him do that with Philly. He has no problem with just being the guy that can close. And he'll only have about 17 to 19 points.
Jimmy Butler is one of those rare players where he doesn't have to put in 30 points to be super impactful in the game. And that's what makes Jimmy Butler special. That's what made the Heat special. It was toughness. And they're going to be a tough team no matter who plays them. And if I'm in the East, I don't want to play the Heat at all. Hopefully someone knocks them out or injuries overwhelm them.
Exactly. And once again, thank you, Danny, a.k.a. Scoops and Hoops, for that question. Great question, bro.
I'm going to take us to the next question asked by one of our friends, Instagram name Williams Isaiah 935. He asked, will Scott Brooks make it through the year as the coach? I'm going to say no. No way.
Man, yeah, Scott Brooks is probably going to be the scapegoat for that team. Even though, hey, we just got news that Bradley Beal just, I believe, tied or broke Gilbert Arenas' points record for Washington with 60 points tonight.
Did they win that game one?
No, they lost.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he definitely getting fired after that. I'm going to ask one more from him. Do the Clippers really have enough to beat the Lakers in a 7-game series?
Yeah, definitely. They have what it takes to beat us. It's going to really depend on a lot of their other counter pieces. If it just comes down to superstars against superstars, they're not going to win. They need some help because one thing that the Lakers have is Anthony Davis. That's like our trump card, and there's nothing they can do about him.
I think they have enough to beat us, but will one of the things they have show up in the postseason? I don't know. and that's Paul George. I know I'm kind of copping out, but I don't know if Paul George is going to show up. Ask me that question after like 2 playoff games of Paul George, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, let's see if they even make it there. See if we can even see it this year.
And I'm going to ask one more question. This is the last one. It's from my good friend Wayne. He doesn't have an Instagram right now, so he just texted it to me, but I think it's a great question. Who is the true loser in the Luka, Doncic, and Trae Young trade? Or is there a loser?
I think the loser is definitely the Hawks out of that. Because even though they lucked out with Trae Young, and yeah, Trae Young is good, okay? But at the end of the day, they would even admit it behind closed doors. They rather have Luka Doncic.
I'll play devil's advocate. Trae Young's going to be a perennial all-star in the East. You traded an all-star for an all-star. The only thing that's going to make this trade look bad is if Luka wins multiple MVPs and Trae doesn't get any.
Yeah.
If Luka wins like 5 or even a couple championships for that matter.
That's the way I'm looking at it.
It just matters the team's success right now.
Yeah.
And right now, Dallas is on the upward trend, and maybe the Hawks will get there this year. It looked bad the first year and the second year just because of how bad the Hawks were, and we saw Dallas kind of take off, but Dallas is a good organization. The Hawks aren't, so I don't want to put all that on Trae Young.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at from the Luka side. I predict that he's going to win, maybe not multiple championships, but I think one day he will win one, and he is going to get an MVP once in his career, and I see him as a generational type player. That's a lot better than just an all-star. And Trae Young is good. Don't get me wrong. So I can see some people look at it as no loss. Like it's a wash. But I would go with the Hawks, that they're the losers in that. Just because how great I predict Luka Doncic is going to be.
Luka seems to have the higher ceiling, but I'm not going to give up hope. I've not been the biggest Trae Young fan in my life, but I'm going to take the glasses half full on this one.
Is there any chance that Trae Young is better than Luka?
I don't know if that's possible, but I see a scenario where maybe he has a better year than him, wins an MVP, if everything clicks right. I can see that scenario.
I feel you. Well, is that it for the questions?
I have more, but let's save them.
Definitely. I feel you on that. Great questions by Wayne and Isaiah, man. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the support from Scoops and Hoops, a.k.a. Danny. Great questions, fellas. Once again, I just want to repeat this, and I'm going to repeat it over and over and over again, just like my boy Marshawn is. But make sure to follow us on all streaming platforms. We're on YouTube, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify. Okay, subscribe, follow, write a review, 5-star rate us, like our video, comment down below, tell us what you think. Even if it's negative, bro, we really don't care. Any feedback is good feedback. That is at Max&JuanCast. We're also on Instagram and Twitter. Feel free to DM us, tweet us, tag us in a post, whatever you got to do, man. You could communicate with us. We'll write back to you. We'll get back to you on anything. Ask us any questions. That is at Max_JuanCast.
You want to take us home again?
Yeah.
Oh, crap. You already did the podcast stuff, so I guess we're just going to wrap it up now.
Well, I was thinking about editing the stuff that I said and just putting it at the end. I got skills like that, Max. Come on. It's not that hard, bro.
Oh, my bad. You do it. You do you. I'm just going to say, I'm signing off right now.
You guys
I'm
know
signing off.
Who's the editor around here, all right?
I'm signing off right now. Y'all have a great one.
We out. Peace.